There is a moment in every great player's career when the silence finally breaks, when the smile disappears, when the professional composure cracks, when months of accumulated frustration, months of watching genius get suppressed by mediocrity, months of carrying an entire franchise on your back while the people holding the clipboard actively work against you, when all of that finally boils over into something the cameras cannot ignore. That moment happened on Sunday night inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
So this is the video. Caitlin Clark is going off, bro. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. This is major. Wow. So Caitlin Clark snaps on coaching staff.
And the cameras caught every single second of it. Drop your honest reaction in the comments right now, because what you are about to see is not just a sideline argument. This is the moment that changes everything about how we understand the relationship between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever coaching staff. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let us set the stage completely, because context is everything, and the mainstream media is already trying to spin this into something it is not. Indiana Fever just beat the Seattle Storm 89-78. Clark dropped 21 points, dished out 10 assists, grabbed 7 rebounds, and went a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line, all in 23 minutes of playing time. When Clark was running the offense her way in the first half, Indiana was a dominant +11. The offense was flowing. The spacing was beautiful. The pace was exactly what this roster needs to be dangerous every single night. And according to multiple reports, Stephanie White was absolutely furious about it. Not because Indiana was losing, not because Clark was struggling, but because Clark had effectively installed her own offensive system on that hardwood, and it was working at a level that exposed everything wrong with the system White has been trying to force-feed this franchise all season long. And that is when the cameras caught it. Clark on the sideline, coaching staff around her. The body language tells the entire story before a single word can be heard. She is not nodding along politely. She is not smiling through the disagreement the way she has been doing for weeks in press conferences. She is gesturing. She is explaining. She is defending her reads, her pace, her decisions with the kind of intensity that only comes from someone who has been holding this back for a very long time. She is not backing down. The footage is raw. It is undeniable. And it is the most revealing thing the cameras have captured inside this Indiana Fever organization in the entire 2026 season. Subscribe right now, because what this footage actually means for the future of this franchise goes so much deeper than one sideline moment. Think about everything that led to this moment. Stephanie White benching Clark in the middle of a hot streak while the offense completely disintegrated. White refusing to acknowledge Clark's historic fourth-quarter explosion in a press conference, talking about the team, talking about resilience, never once saying the name Caitlin Clark while the reporter was specifically asking about Caitlin Clark. White abandoning the Clark-Boston pick and roll, the most unstoppable offensive combination this league has ever seen, in favor of a stagnant, suffocating, slow-paced system that has produced back-to-back overtime losses at home. 4 games into this season, and Clark is already fighting for her professional life on the sidelines.
If you're a Stephanie White supporter, you're not a Caitlin Clark fan. Simple. Unfollow. Wow. So now fans is crashing out with each other. Fans are crashing out. Somebody said it's pretty clear Stephanie White came to Indianapolis because of the history and not because she wanted to coach Caitlin Clark. That's really unfortunate. Wow. Caitlin Clark is being punished by Stephanie White.
That is not an accident. That is the direct result of a coaching philosophy that prioritizes a coach's ego over a franchise player's genius. Stephanie White wants her defensive system to be the reason Indiana wins. She wants the credit. She wants the narrative. And every time Clark takes control of the offense and makes it brilliant in a way that has nothing to do with White's coaching, it is a direct threat to that narrative.
Caitlin Clark has the right to speak on her basketball team. And she kept talking to her, and she's still snapping on her, bro. Snapping on them, bro. Keep that energy. Demon, please delete this. It's going to turn against CC. You new to this? I don't think this should be deleted, bro.
Now here is the part that the mainstream media apologists for Stephanie White are already trying to spin. They will tell you this footage is a bad look for Clark. They will say she is being uncoachable. They will say she is being uncoachable. They will say she needs to fall in line and trust the system. Let me be completely clear about something. A player who processes basketball at the level Caitlin Clark processes basketball has a professional obligation to push back when the people holding the clipboards are actively suppressing her genius. This is not a diva moment. This is not a tantrum. This is one of the greatest offensive minds in the history of women's basketball, refusing to be silenced by a coaching staff that cannot keep up with how fast she sees the game. She sees the weak side rotation before the defense initiates it. She reads the hedge before the screen is even set. She knows exactly where the open player will be 3 passes before the ball gets there. And when a coaching staff tries to micromanage every single dribble and every single decision of someone operating at that level, the friction is not just inevitable. It is absolutely necessary, and the fan base is responding to this footage with exactly the kind of energy that should be keeping every single person in the Indiana Fever front office awake tonight. Comment sections across every platform are a complete war zone. Fans are declaring that if you support Stephanie White's system, you are not a Caitlin Clark fan. The Doom FC and the Resistance are organizing. People who have been watching this franchise for years are making connections they have been afraid to make publicly. Because this footage confirms what the empty seats, the declining ticket prices, the toxic press conferences, and the rotating lineup disasters have been screaming for weeks. The coaching staff is not trying to build around Caitlin Clark. They are trying to control her. And there is a massive difference between those two things. But here is the moment that reveals the true depth of this dysfunction. After the game, Stephanie White stepped to the podium for the post-game press conference. And knowing that the cameras had caught what happened on that sideline, knowing that 3,000 seats sat empty in the building behind her, knowing that the fan base was watching her every word, she suddenly offered praise for Clark. She talked about Clark's burst. She talked about her lift in her shot. She said she looked strong. She said her movement patterns are back. And Clark stood nearby and said nothing. Because notice what White praised. She praised Clark's physical attributes, her burst, her strength, her athleticism, things the coaching staff cannot take credit for and cannot control. But she said nothing about Clark's basketball IQ, nothing about her ability to read defenses, nothing about the decision to take control of the offense and generate a massive first-half advantage that the coaching staff system never could have produced. Because acknowledging Clark's genius would be an admission of White's own strategic failure. And Stephanie White is not capable of making that admission publicly. The Simon family ownership group has a decision to make. The most expensive decision in the history of this franchise. Because right now they have the most valuable asset in the history of women's professional basketball, openly fighting for her professional life on their sidelines. They have 3,000 empty seats in a building that had a waitlist thousands of names long 18 months ago. They have a coach who is more concerned with controlling a narrative than winning basketball games. And they have a camera that caught every single second of what is really happening inside Indiana Fever. This is not a coaching disagreement anymore. This is a franchise at a crossroads, and the footage from Sunday night just made it impossible for anyone to pretend otherwise. Drop your most explosive take in the comments right now. Is Caitlin Clark completely justified in pushing back against the Indiana Fever coaching staff, or does she need to trust the system? And how much longer can this front office ignore what the cameras are already showing the entire world? Subscribe immediately and hit that notification bell because this civil war inside Indiana Fever is accelerating, and we are going to be here documenting every single moment of it.